This is reality TV that works. Startups, made in Kansas City.
One of my favorite things about being a part of the restaurant community in Kansas City is how close-knit it is. If I'm out of onions one night, there's 4 different restaurants that I can walk to in 5 minutes that would loan me onions. And I think that in some bigger cities it's more cutthroat and people aren't helping each other. They're definitely competing against each other. I think in Kansas City we're competing and we push each other to get better, and we definitely want to, each of us wants to be the best, but at the same time we're small enough that we sort of have to get along.
The Rieger Hotel was built in 1915 by Alexander Rieger, and I knew that it was originally a hotel when we first started looking at signing the lease and doing the restaurant. What I didn't know was that Alexander is the son of Jacob Rieger, who had a whiskey distillery and a wholesale distribution company in Kansas City that he started in the late 1800s. And when his son built this hotel, they put a mural on the south wall advertising their Monogram whiskey. And by the time we took over in 2010, it was faded beyond recognition, but we were able to reconstruct it and have it hand painted almost back to its original form.
We were very interested when starting our restaurant that we wanted to tie into the history of our building and our neighborhood and really be part of Kansas City's culture rather than a new trendy hotspot that may not last very long. We really wanted to feel established. So tapping into this history was a way to brand ourselves in a way that seemed, part of the community and part of something bigger.
Well, we're in a really fascinating part of Kansas City here in the Crossroads Art District, which on a national scale is being marketed as the creative crossroads of the country. We're surrounded by art galleries, really great restaurants and bars. There's a ton of design firms, world-renowned architectural firms, video production agencies, and even Google. Google is now launching their Google Fiber project here in this part of Kansas City. So it's a very creative, very energetic neighborhood that is perfect for a business like ours that wants to be innovative and wants to be fresh and new and have a lot of fun with what we're doing.
Being a partner in a restaurant is definitely a very challenging thing. I had been a chef at a couple other places here in Kansas City, and I'd been cooking professionally my whole adult life, but it took a whole lot to go from being a chef to being a chef owner. And it was a real education for me. In so many ways it draws you away from the thing that you're passionate about and great at, which for me was cooking. And I had to focus on so many other things that were new to me. Setting up an LLC and dealing with lawyers and dealing with banks and investors, and all of those things were new to me. And I really enjoyed the challenges of it, and I really grew a lot from it. But at the same time, it's sort of ironic that to achieve my dream of being, a chef and restaurateur of my own restaurant, I'm cooking less and less all the time because of it, and I'm doing more meetings and more training and planning events and planning future menus and things like that.
Well, running a restaurant is definitely not the easiest thing, but I think that if you love doing it and if you have a desire to be in the hospitality industry and serve great food and great drinks and really appreciate being around people and meeting new people and taking care of them and giving them a good experience, then I think you'll love it. But otherwise, yeah, it does take a lot out of you, and it's a very stressful business. I mean, if you're just looking to make a few bucks, then there are probably better, safer routes to go than opening a restaurant.
It's definitely a hard business. I think for a restaurant to succeed, you need to put in hours. Really, for the first 9 months, I worked open to close every single day, and it was really an enormous amount of hours. I was always here to watch it. I was always here to correct things that went wrong, and I think that's a big key to having repeat business, is they know that when they show up, they're going to see you and that you care and you're there and you're paying attention. It takes a huge commitment, but it's also what I always wanted to do, so it's easy to do. So during the day, we're back behind the line prepping for dinner service. During the dinner service, I'll be at the expo station here, pulling the tickets and calling the food out to the cooks. They put it up in the hot window here, and I bring it over to the servers who take it to the guests. Between lunch and dinner, though, I have a lot of downtime where I do other things that have more to do with the business and less to do with the cooking. This is my office. I sit at this counter, and we'll have our cell phones out and the laptop computer, and we get a lot of work done this way when there is less to do in the kitchen. Tonight, for example, we've got a great dry-aged T-bone steak on special and a lamb pasta that we're working on that's going to be on our new menu. Those are things that I know our regulars would want to know about. So I'll go onto Facebook and post maybe a picture or a description and kind of a teaser, and I know we'll get great results from that. There'll probably be people in tonight that saw it on Facebook.
We are very much big believers in using social media, and I think that a lot of small businesses these days are going that route. You know, we don't do a lot of print advertising; it's very expensive. The majority of what we do is, you know, more of a direct connection with our guests and with our friends and our clientele through social media.
We have $0 in the budget for print advertising because we're really finding that it hasn't been very effective. We can post a special on Facebook at 11 in the morning, and we get a guest in the door at 11:25 that came for that special. It's amazing how quickly people respond to it, and I think it is a great way not only to post content about what's happening at the restaurant and what you have to offer that's on specials that day, but I also think it's a way to develop relationships with people.
I've always kind of looked at print advertising and marketing of your business sort of like your business card, but you know, using social media is like a handshake or a hug. You know, it allows you to really be yourself and kind of convey your personality, and I think people have a greater understanding of who you are, and I think it really helps build a brand.
Here in the bar area, we built a new back bar and we stained it, you know, a dark, you know, wood. I think that works nicely with the feel of the, you know, how the hotel might have looked back in 1915. Also for us, a big part of our concept is our cocktail program and our bar program in general. We are a restaurant first and foremost, but you do a lot better margins on selling liquor than you do selling food. And so really, it was something that was important to us, was to get established as a really well-known bar so that people can use us in different ways.
Manifesto opened in April of 2009, and the idea was really to create a small, high-end craft cocktail bar where we really got to experiment and have a lot of fun with making really beautiful drinks in a pre-Prohibition style. And the setting of it being in the basement here at the Rieger was just perfect because we could have the entrance back in the alley, keep it kind of discreet, didn't really do any advertising. It was really a perfect location for a concept like that. And then a couple years later, you know, we were able to take over the restaurant space upstairs and open up the Rieger. The theme of Manifesto is really a classic cocktail lounge. We do take reservations, which is a little bit unusual for a bar, but we do it via text message. So we have a cell phone, we run the whole business on that, and you can call or send a text for a reservation. We only have 48 seats, and when we fill those seats, we're at our capacity. So there's no standing room only. It's not a crowded, uncomfortable bar. We want to keep it comfortable, high level of service, and we want it to be a good experience. The feedback has been amazing. I mean, early on, we did have a lot of excitement and a lot of buzz about what we were doing because it was so different. It took a little time, I think, for a lot of people to understand what we were all about, but after almost 4 years, I think that we've really gotten into a groove, and not just locally, but nationally, it's been recognized by a lot of our peers in the industry. We really like to maintain a high level of service and class, and so we're really not trying to pinpoint a specific demographic. It's really a bar that should be for everyone.
I think one of the best things for Kansas City's restaurant scene is there's a lot of guys my age who have traveled a lot, who have worked in some of the best restaurants in the country and in other countries as well, and have come back home and are trying to do our thing here. The rent's a lot lower, the taxes are lower, it's pretty wide open, and you can definitely build the kind of place you want to build and do it a lot more affordable than you could in San Francisco or New York. But at the same time, I think the general population here is really proud of our local restaurants and independent restaurants, and they know that we're doing things that are getting national attention, and there's really good support from Kansas Cityans.
We get the Manifesto M, and this is the original J. Rieger & Company whiskey crest from the late 1880s. So this is definitely a commitment.
I was going to say, you won't be moving anytime soon.
Yeah. No, not at all. I'm here. I'm here for life.
A co-production of KCPT and Outpost Worldwide. At home in Kansas City. Production, post, content.